careful in the use of one's money and resources, right? Dental practices can be very costly to run, right? It's important to be careful in how you use your money and resources. You got to know this. Like, what are you budgeting for marketing? What are you budgeting for things? With careful planning, you can quickly find yourself in debt. What are your dreams? What are your wants? Do you want to grow your business? Help you crush your goals personally, professionally, and financially? Just join the conversation. Hey guys, what's happening, man? Dr. Grassi again, and today we're talking about the qualities and habits of successful dentists. This is the third time I'm doing it. This is a different version, and we're going to cover 7 topics for qualities and habits of how to truly be a successful dentist. I mean, you're about to embark on the most exciting journey that will take your practice literally from average to excellent. And you're going to say, well, how do I have confidence in that? Because I've done the same thing. It'll make it supersized, man. I mean, I've done the same thing you're looking at. The possibilities are endless when you get excited about what's ahead. Like if you can really cause and create the future you want, if you can cause and create anything you want, by the time the session is over, guys, you're going to realize you'll have a clear understanding of who you are as an individual and your own unique path in life. Like, how are you going to get there? No one can make this happen but yourself. So just, you got to get out there. You got to figure out what makes you tick, what makes it happen, what's going on. I'm going to make it easy as possible. You don't need any business experience. You don't need any certified, any qualifications. This is just, all you need is pure willingness. All you really need is a pure willingness to become the best version of you. There are things you need to be successful dentist, and it's hard. And sometimes you just don't even know where to start. I'm Dr. Bobby Grassi. I'm born and raised in Flint, Michigan, man. I came from a single mom raising 3 kids on $18,000 a year. I've taken a dental practice doing $1 million to over $4 million. I've survived a GM crisis in 2008. I survived the Flint water crisis, and now even pandemics. And I continue to grow 10 to 15% every year. If I can do it, you can do it. If you listen to me, you will learn the habits to be successful. To be successful as a dentist, as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, just implementing these things in your life right now. This is the last episode of this topic. So if you haven't watched the first and second, you need to go back and rewind. I will advise you to finish the first and then go and look for the other ones. But the reality is, go back. So without further ado, let's just jump into it. This week, we're going to talk about finding trends and new technologies. So one of the ways I've grown my practice, see, dentists are always looking for new ways to improve their practice, but sometimes it takes just a lot of work and keep up with the latest trends and technologies. What do I buy? What don't I buy? Every day, we're figuring out, okay, what's going to work in our practice? Should we buy the investment? I don't know if you're like me. I buy new stuff and sometimes my hygienists don't use it, or even other people aren't using it. So, what technology is really going to work? I remember starting with a Spectra, which kind of diagnosed of just occlusal decay. And it kind of was showing people. And when I realized the power of the Spectra, and I don't even know if it exists anymore, but the technology that shows kind of like Doppler radar for teeth, when I started implementing that, I realized my patients have level raised up and they started diagnosing their own things. So it's just a little cool device that you can use and trends to kind of implement it. And plus, people want to go to people that are keeping up with the Joneses per se. Like, they want to know that you're staying up with the times. I mean, we don't use old film before. Now we have digital films. And if you went to a dentist that didn't have digital film, now you'd probably chuckle because it's so obsolete, right? And I don't know if you have cone beam, but once I implemented cone beam in my office, it was just amazing. So you always want to look at new trends and new ways to show the patients of how you can do this and that you're staying up with the times. That's the thing. Like every 5 years, every 4 years, you need to be looking at new ways. What can you do? What's out there? How do I improve it? Because the tools are really designed to make it easier for you, whether it's scanners for dentistry, whether it's CBCT machines, whatever it is. I mean, intraoral cameras, you got to stay up with the times. And then you want to stick with the plan. Sometimes it's so hard to stay motivated when you're trying to achieve your goals. I've been there, man. When it comes to achieving goals, most people just give up way too soon. They get that resistance and they start giving up and they just don't want to go there. They never see their vision through because they need daily follow through tactics. And that's the most thing. They're not doing the same thing consistently every day. Staying with the plan doesn't mean you don't veer off. Think of it as a GPS system. Sometimes you got to take a detour, turn right, turn left. But at the end of the day, you got to stick with the plan. Sticking with the plan is a powerful way that provides you with the daily motivation and accountability you need to reach your goals, period. If you're not staying with the plan, your staff won't stay with the plan. With our helpful tips and reminders, you can achieve anything you want in life. Like when you're trying to stick to a plan, when you're trying to do things, and when your staff sees you sticking to it, no matter what obstacle comes your way, when you have the major breakthroughs, that's when you have the magic or lightning in the bottle. When you got the technology, when you're sticking with your plan, when you're being consistent every single day, that's when the magic happens. What's another thing you can do? Hey, be a marketer. Like, you got to be a marketer. You may wonder, how can you even think of marketing with your hands are full of patients? And you're right, like it's a lot to juggle. I understand that, but you always got to be thinking of ways to reinvent the wheels. Trying to keep up with the latest changes in dentistry is challenging enough, let alone worry about whether or not you can marketing is effective. What is it doing? But if you don't market your practice, then who will? You got to understand, what is the patient you're looking for? What's the ideal patient you're looking for? How much do you want to spend on marketing? I mean, you're the CEO of a company. See, and that's where dentists fail. That's where dentists fail. They try to just be in dentistry. Business isn't working for them. They're working in the business. So I got good news for you. With our help, reaching out to new patients can be easily and quick, right? We can show you how to use the most popular technologies out there so that we can focus on what you do best, which is dentistry. So if you don't want to market, I'll market for you. I'll teach you how to market. I'll show you how to market. Email me at the info@thedentistco.com. I mean, I will show you what I do, tips and strategies that I've done every single day to continuously grow my practice 10 to 15%. And you might say that's not a big deal. 15% of $4 million is a lot of money, right? I mean, that's $600,000 in revenue. So it's huge. So for me, next year, my goal is to go to $4.6 million practice. And you can do it, but I've done it. It doesn't have to be hard. You know, I've done it while I'm in patients, while I'm doing almost $3 million in dentistry. I've done it. You don't have to. I can help you. I got the tips and trips and strategies that can help you. Careful in the use of one's money and resources. Dental practices can be very costly to run, right? It's important to be careful in how you use your money and resources. You got to know this. Like, what are you budgeting for marketing? What are you budgeting for things? With careful planning, you can quickly find yourself in debt, right? So it's Parkinson's law and struggling to make ends meet. I've been there. I didn't plan. I didn't use my money wisely. Parkinson's law says your debt always rises to meet your income. Not keeping on track in your finances is huge, right? And it can lead to disastrous consequences for your dental practice. For example, you could quickly lose money through careless spending on making uninformed investment choices. Like, you could buy the wrong technology. You can spend the wrong money on marketing. You can overpay your staff. You cannot overpay your staff. You need to know what exactly it is. What are your budgets? What are your parameters? What are you putting in place? But I can help. I can help, right? You need to know what's going to make you comfortable, what's not. You can't just spend money wisely. I would always tell people, hey, at the end of the day, if you're making $100,000, maybe figure out how you can have at least 2 months of payroll always in your cash flow. I mean, that's something to think of, right? So whatever your payroll is, figure that out, double that. That's just a little hack. But I can show you how to really make the right choices, how to do it. I've done it wrong too, man. I've done it where I had 24 employees before and things just didn't work out well. And I basically was running a practice to pay for them. And we've all been there. Remember to pay yourself first. Prioritize tasks on a checklist. Like, make sure you know you're doing the right things. Dentists we're constantly juggling a million things, for patient care to staff management. What is our marketing? As a result, it can be hard to heck just to focus on dentistry. We're always thinking about it. There's always drama coming in. Is there a patient unhappy or not? How do you deal with this, right? You might feel like you're always playing catch up, and it can seem as if you can't get ahead. If it feels like there's not enough hours in the day, like I've been there, man, you can always feel like there's never enough time. So you got to literally prioritize the task or checklist that you want to get done. Take control of your time in your practice. Making a checklist will help you, and it helps me organize my thoughts, helps me figure out what I need to do, what comes first. Read the book, The One Thing. Like, even though we're good and we can multitask and we do a lot of things, at the end of the day, you might not accomplish anything. So focus on the one thing. Focus on one thing. Put a task in. What is the most important? What is the must I have to do versus what must I do versus what I want to do? That's what you have to write down every single day. And right, you got to figure this out, right? Be ready for, create spaces in your spot for the dental emergencies. Like, don't be that practice that doesn't see them. Emergencies happen all the time, but do you have a system and process in place that will help you fit them in? Some of the greatest growths I've ever had in my practice was when I can increase revenue by seeing same day emergency patients, right? Is my staff equipped to it? Are we handled to quit? Instead of them going to the emergency room or another dentist, are you seeing them? Do you have systems in place and processes of how to treat emergencies? Do you have time slot booked down? These are the things that you have to know. But if you're not marketing right, if you're not prioritizing your time right, if you're not doing things you need to do on a continuous everyday basis, you won't really know that. But the common mistakes of dentists is they believe truly that their time is more valuable than the patient's time. So look at, man, how would you treat a family member with a dental emergency? How would you treat anybody in that situation? And that's what you need to do. Dental emergencies are one of the most common reasons people go to the ER. And even if you're not working in the emergency room, you should still be prepared for those emergencies. You should know. You should know that through and through, like what it really is. Then obviously, the last but not least, practice ethically. Ethical principles have gone by the wayside, I believe. I believe that it's guide to how to really behave. And there are 5 key concepts that help clarify what is considered ethical and not, so that the patients can be sure their needs always get met within their guidelines, no matter what the circumstance is, no matter what they're dealing with as a dentist or an assistant. One, patient autonomy. You must always keep the information private. I have information sometimes I get people all the time, and so do you, that somebody will want to discuss patient's information that might be a family member. Well, guys, look, at the end of the day, you can't, right? Non-maleficence, right? You want to make sure you're not judging any harm. Beneficence, right? You need justice, veracity. I mean, these are all the things that you need. And so when you're thinking about, to me, when I practice dentistry and when I think about dentistry, and we always say we're ethical, just don't do unnecessary things. Treat people as if you want to be treated in the chair. Treat people as if it's always your family member sitting in the chair, and you're going to be phenomenal. I know it sounds simple and it sounds non-complex, and it's a little bit more than that. But look, if you don't need to put a core on a tooth, don't put a core. If you don't need a crown on the tooth, don't put a crown, right? If you don't need to do all this stuff, then you know that, guys. I mean, so at the end of the day, it's not challenging to be masterful in practice. I really hope you guys reach out. And, I know these calls are valuable. We're getting a lot of great feedback. I hope you're taking some of these tips and tricks. And I hope, we continue to do more of these calls, because then I can show you how to truly 5X your life. And you see it right here on my sleeve. It says 5X. 5X means I want to be 5 times greater today than yesterday. You've heard 10X's, right? We have these codes. Everything I do by, everything I live by as a code. One way means through Christ, whatever it might be. So you can be the best you. This is the time, if you're struggling, you need to get excited about where you're at right now, because you still got the drive. You still got the passion. You just might need a little bit of help. And I've been there. I've had mentors. I've had coaches. I've had a lot of people who help get me to the next level. And if you're not trying to find a way to become better, if you're not trying to find a way to really reinvent your wheel, you're not going to be successful. So you should be excited. You should be excited. I mean, I can show you truly how to double or triple your revenue. I promise you, I've done it. Let me show you how. I had mentors. I had coaches. I mean, I have 7 different businesses. And one of my businesses is dentistry that continues to grow 10 to 15% every year. Guys, just register for my practice bootcamp. Register for it. The Relentless Dentist, limited to 50 people, where I will work with you hands-on and showing you truly how I've done it and how you can make more money. I never thought possible I would net over $1 million. I didn't say gross, net personally over $1 million. I never thought it was possible. I was doing $250,000, $300,000. Guys, it's possible. I've done it. So if you want to be that person where you finally become free, financially free, and not living life in your practice, but living life on your practice, there's 2 different things. Enjoy life. Let me show you how you can truly get the most out of this thing we call life, guys. Email me at info@thedentistco.com. If you really want to be, like I said, be the first 50 people to register, man, I'm going to give you half off if you register. We'll talk soon. I hope this message helps. Have a great day.